Hello,
Hello, how you doing?
how are you?
Yeah, good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Everything all right? Problems with
Yeah, I
the
think so.
buses?
Been a bit really hectic, been really busy recently, but yeah.
Oh, really? What? College?
Yeah, busy at uni and then I've got loads of stuff to sort out. I've got a few things I need to send off to Sky and it's busy, but it's good. It's good. I
You
like being
got a
busy.
few things you got to send off to Sky.
Yeah, I've got to send off my reel for some to some producers.
Go on, keep
Go
talking.
on.
Keep
Yeah.
talking.
No, it's
What?
good.
Potential
Exciting
job
times.
or just work experience or what?
No, for some proper paid work, yeah.
Oh,
Should be good.
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it'd be
So,
good.
what are you sending them? Like bits of commentary that you've done?
Yeah, so bits of commentary, some bits of the podcast, and then some other bits and bobs as well. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
nice.
exciting.
Uh, well, today, so we're going to recap the amazing victory on Saturday against Barnsley, which you were
Incredible.
at.
Yeah, really special.
And we've got Gabriel Sutton joining us.
Yeah,
Now, I've had loads of tweets from people saying you've got to get him on.
yeah.
Who is he and why? Well, in fact, I've been watching some of his stuff, so I sort of know now. But for the
Yeah,
listener,
I've spoken to Gabe quite a few times. We've had a few phone calls and we've DM'd each other quite a few times. He's probably one of the best lower league, like what would it be, like pundit, sort of like journalist, if you like. So knowledgeable, knows so much, and not just about Leagues One, Championship, League Two, but also further leagues below as well. So he knows sort of all
really,
the up and coming managers, all the up and coming players, and
so knows more than me.
yeah, I would probably say he knows a lot more than me as well, which is good. It'll be a breath of fresh air because he'll give insight that on
Oh,
things that even I don't know, and it'd be really
oh.
good. He's such a nice, polite gentleman. So yeah, it'll be a really nice pod.
Should we get him on?
Go for it.
Quite
Hit him up.
excited. Quite excited.
I know he thinks fondly of Exeter City. He really does like the business model, and he's really an
And the
advocate for
podcast
Exeter
and
City.
stuff.
Yeah, he probably likes the pod as well. Great win on Saturday. I can't lie. Great win.
Yeah, yeah, amazing.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Hi there, folks. How are you?
Okay, you're
Hello.
right.
Yeah,
Hey,
not too bad, thanks.
how you doing? We can't see you.
Oh, let me turn video on. That would help.
There we
Hey, I thought you were going to be nude or something.
go.
No, that's for later, David.
Okay, right. Sure. Forgot. Yeah. Thank you for coming on the pod.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. I'm really looking forward to it.
Do you know, I was saying to John, I've had loads of tweets saying, got to get you on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the most requested guests.
All right. Well, do you know what? I actually heard that I got mentioned on this podcast via like a friend who's got like, so my old housemate's got a mate who actually listens to it. And
Oh,
then apparently he texted my old housemate. So and then that's how it kind of randomly sort of came up. So
when you said he actually listens,
Yeah.
you said it as if he's nuts for doing so.
well, maybe that's true. Yeah. We're about to find out, aren't we?
To be honest, I think that's probably an accurate reflection of most of our listeners.
Yeah,
Got to be
yeah.
nuts.
I've been told that you know everything that needs to be known about lower league football and
Yeah, I think this is a common misconception, David.
oh,
I lean on everyone that needs to be leaned on for
oh,
knowledge about lower league football.
so do I. So do I, and that's
There's
so
a lot of
do I.
similarities here.
Yeah, I know a fair bit. Is it Gabriel?
I like in a family setting. I like Gabe. In a work setting, I like Gab because it's sort of trendier.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I know my onions, Gab. Don't worry
Okay.
about that. Yeah,
Do you like red, Spanish?
I love red onions. Actually, I
Okay.
genuinely like red onions.
Okay. I like them in like a caprese salad or something. Bit of mozzarella,
Ooh, let's do an
tomato.
onion podcast.
Oh, like, I'm totally well on board for that. Forget the football nonsense.
Yeah,
Let's
stop
talk
the
about
football. There's
onions.
loads of there's hardly any onions podcasts.
You'd
There's
be
like
number one in
three.
the Onion pod charts. That's for
Yeah,
certain.
yeah. Well, imagine if you weren't. Imagine if you weren't number one in the onion. Uh,
Oh gosh.
so, so today I'd love to talk to you about the next manager and who potentially it might be of Exeter.
Sure.
And just want to chat about the Barnsley game, John, that you were at.
Yeah.
And I've got like 2 or 3 questions from Patreon that they will want to ask you, Gab, and John. And so that's it. So
Where do you want to start, David? More importantly, out of those
where
three.
do you want to start? Where do you want to start?
Um,
How good a Barnsley? How good a victory was that?
I think that's probably more of a question for Gab because he'll know more. From what I saw on the day, they were some side. We really played well and did well to match them. But I don't know if Gab's got anything else to add to that.
Are they
Yeah, I mean,
potential? What do you call it? Promotion? Is it a potential promotion side, Barnsley?
yeah, I think first of all, I think they've got an excellent manager in Michael Duff. That what he's achieved at Cheltenham Town is absolutely extraordinary. I think what could hold them back in terms of the top 6 and how competitive that is they've probably not got the depth of some of the teams that they're going to be competing with, and I think that could hold them back a little bit, sort of beyond that first 11. But actually, I think if they can put together a playoff challenge this season, and then maybe things can kind of work themselves out at boardroom level, hopefully over the next 12 months, and then add a bit of depth the next season, I think I could see them going on again. But I think they're a very well coached side, and obviously Michael Duff, excellent manager.
Why haven't they got the depth? Haven't they got the kahunas? Is that a word, John?
The Hooners?
The kahunas? Haven't they got any money? I would have thought Barnsley would be rolling in it.
No, I mean they're probably one of the bigger budgeted clubs in the division, but I think it depends what you're comparing them to. So I think they've got the money sort of relative to half the sides in League One because they've got a bigger budget than that. But probably if you're comparing them to something, like Sheffield Wednesday, for example, they're probably a little bit shorter depth, I guess, in that sense.
Whenever Sheffield Wednesday mentioned, I feel a little
Did you
pain
see?
or something
Did you
because
see Barry Bannon's
I didn't
goal?
slag off Barry Bannon. I just never heard of him.
Did you see his goal on the
Yeah,
weekend?
it was unbelievable.
What he's actually a joke. It's sort of like, well, I think he's like really too good to be playing in League One.
Well,
He's
it
exceptional.
seems way too good for the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me sort of creeping back. Please like me, Barry.
Too late. He's already got the shirt ready to unveil, which is going to say something along the lines of "Piss off, David."
All right, steady. Yeah, fair enough.
Didn't realise it was this sort of podcast.
Yeah, I know. John mentioned Barry Bannon because I'm new to lower leagues, Gab.
Oh yeah. What got? Can I just get a slight tangent because it feels like it's a podcast of tangents. What's what got you into supporting lower league football? I'd love to kind of hear the background to this.
It was moving to Devon. I'd always wanted to support. I mean, listeners would have heard this loads, but I've always wanted to support a side and go on a Saturday. I was jealous of people that I knew that did that, and I always supported Man United, and obviously they were hundreds of miles away.
Yeah.
And I only been to see them 2 or 3 times. So I wanted to have that ritual on a Saturday. I was really jealous of that ritual.
The other thing as well, David, I think you've made absolutely the right choice there because what you've got in Exeter City is a football club that cares for its people. It cares about it. Man United don't actually care about their fans. They would rather not have season ticket holders. They'd rather have people coming over from France, from America, from all corners of the world for one game so that they can spend more money in the club shop and individual ticket prices and all this sort of thing. So it's just basically a numbers game for them. For Exeter City, they want to build a community of people. They care about the people that support them. And for me, you can't put a price on that for me. So
well, I didn't know anything about that because I asked some people who I should go and watch out of Torquay, Plymouth, and Exeter came out on top. I went to watch them, and I thought, well, I've watched the game now. I'm in, so I'll keep watching.
Yeah, you don't want to go to Cornwall. I mean,
no,
makes sense.
No, but I thought I've watched this one. I might as well just keep coming back and watching the red and white striped men of Exeter, and then obviously the more you watch it, the more you care. And,
I think you were surprised by how much you fell, didn't you? Sort of, you were just sort of engrossed in it, and then you couldn't stop.
Are you on the big bank, David?
I will never be on the big bank. I've got a cozy little chair in amongst them. Septuagenarians.
I'll be honest, Gab. I think David has one of the best seats in the house. I
Yeah.
sat in his season ticket for one of the games. I think it might have been the Port Vale 4-0 win. And the view is I don't know how he's managed to scramble that seat because it's
Because
incredible.
I woke up at
Yeah.
6:40 a.m. after we got promoted and
Oh
bought
yeah,
the season
I
ticket.
remember that. That was a funny. That was
To
a
be
funny
fair
day.
though, I love it. I love a ground. I don't know what you guys think, but I love a football ground where you can see the surroundings. Do you know what I mean? Where you can there's some lovely views of like the cathedral. Is it the cathedral that you can see from
Yeah.
the big bank? I love that about sort of football grounds. I think it adds to the charm of the play. Like Accrington Stanley, for example. I don't know if either of you have been up there. You can see the Lancashire hills around it.
That's what I said to John about Forest
Yeah.
Green Rovers. I was looking at the hills more than the games. Beautiful. That was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the tractors and I mean, John sort of laughs me off, but when you get older, John, you'll enjoy a hill. Trust me.
Yeah. To be fair, actually, yeah. Well, when me and my mates travel away, we actually have a really stupid game we play in the car where we review the hills off the motorway. So actually, at my age, I can still
Take it back.
What's the
appreciate
best
hills.
hill you've ever seen? Like, have you got a
Oh,
top of the list?
What's the best rated hill, John?
Yeah,
on the
go on. I want to
motorway,
hear about this.
I've really done some miles on the motorways as well.
Oh, here's another podcast idea. This would be good.
Yeah.
Hills.
Onions and hills now.
There's one just south of Gloucester, which is like a really big mound, right? It's actually big. And we always look at each other and we go, yeah, that's a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 hill. That's
right.
Perfect sort of mound. How the hell
Yeah.
have we got onto this? I don't know. But
Don't worry, go with it. Trust your gut.
Yeah. So I actually find it insulting that you think I can't appreciate hills at my age.
Okay, sorry. So you watched the game on Saturday, John. You were
I
there.
did. Yeah.
And Jay Stansfield scored 2 goals. What was that like when he scored the first goal?
The first, well,
After
it was
9 seconds or whatever it was.
Yeah, it caught everyone off all by surprise. I think I was sitting with my dad, and it was actually really nice. I saw my dad for the first time in like a month or whatever, and sort of there we started chatting, and we're like, oh my god, we've got Sam Nombe's in it, or he's got a chance. And then his touch sort of was a bit wayward, and Jay took over. And for a 19-year-old to shift the ball onto his right like that and find the bottom corner in the first minute of the game, I think everyone was like, I was in shock. I was like, first of all, I was happy we scored, and then for like a couple of seconds later, you realise, shit, it's like Jay Stansfield, which was incredible. And he obviously did a really sort of poignant celebration, which was very similar to his father's. It was sort of iconic. And it was
really?
His knee slides. So he peeled off into the corner and did a little knee slide. And I think everyone around us was as happy as we were to take the lead. Everyone was like, really, it was an emotional moment. And so for him to do it 45 minutes later was
yeah, I'm just amazed just on that as well. I mean, obviously wonderful for him to score those goals, but the composure he showed for his second goal, because like the ball came to him, he had the presence of mind in the 6-yard box to take one touch to control the ball and a second to put it in the net. Yeah. I think if I was in his shoes, I'd have probably tried to shoot first time because I'd have been worried about taking too long, but he just seemed to have that ice cool composure, which, considering like the wider context of him playing for Exeter and the weight of that in some respects, like that's incredible composure that he's shown. So delighted for the lad.
Yeah, that goal felt like it took an age to go, and he took a touch, and I think that the moment between the touch and the shot was probably only about a second, but it felt like about 5 years. It just to shoot, I was thinking, but yeah, no.
And what was our performance like? Were we all really over
good? This is what I was going to say. I think Jay will get the headlines, and probably rightly so because of the 2 goals, but Archie Collins was incredible, unbelievable. He was just everywhere. He didn't stop running, and he was.
There was one ball in behind for Jake Caprice in the lead up to one of those chances, which was just incredible vision.
He was superb, and everyone around us kept on going like, shit, like Archie Collins is playing unbelievable. And then you'd think, oh, he's going to get when the rest of the team was tired, he was sort of that one. The one thing I'm concerned about is we really did fatigue with about 15 minutes to go. We were struggling. Like no one, not even Sam Nombe, you know what he's like, he don't stop running, but even he was sort of like trying to get the ball in the corner or offload the ball. So we did look tired, but Archie Collins was the best player on the pitch.
Theoretical question for you then, John, on Archie Collins. If Exeter were to play with a three-man midfield, would you see Archie Collins growing into a number 6 role, someone that collects the ball off the defence and dictates, or would he have to be given that sort of creative license?
Why aren't I involved in this conversation?
I just don't think that it's your type of question, David, with respect.
To be perfectly honest, I think he already sort of plays a number 6, if not like a box to box, but he's always, David will be able to clarify this, he's always dropping super deep to get the ball. He's always sort of almost playing as like a centre half at times to get the ball and play. And when Matt was still manager, you could always hear him shout, "Look, give it to Archie, Archie's ball, Archie, like just get the ball to Archie," because he's the player that makes us tick.
He reminds me of Christian Eriksen for Man United at the moment. Picks the ball up, lovely touch, lovely pass. Nice vision.
I'd go as far as saying Archie's better than Eriksen, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you mind if we jump on to potential manager? Because I've been all over this.
Let's go. Let's get it. Oh, just like to, before we move on from the game, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Jamal Blackman, just got a few words for you. Never ever try the fancy list again, okay? Thank you.
What did he do?
Well, he tried to do the same thing he did at Wickham, and all 13,000 people in the stadium knew exactly what he was going to do, including the striker. And luckily, he recovered well. But he sort of went to turn back, and the striker went, "Yeah, I knew you were going to do that." Nicked it off.
All right, another little message to Jamal: keep doing it, boy. Keep entertaining us.
No, stop it.
No, keep doing it.
Stop it.
Keep doing it.
Stop it.
So, Gab, I watched. So yesterday, I looked at the potential managers lined up, like Kevin Nicholson, Dave Artell. These are all new names to me. These are brand new names, so I'm trying to get to know. And I think Dave Artell's current favourite, with Nicholson just behind. I watched your video with Dave Artell from, when was it?
Well, maybe I think it was around August time.
Yeah. I think he was sat in some bedroom on a bed. I was trying to work out, where are you in your house?
Maybe the kitchen or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I like the look of him.
Well, I think there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, I think David's one of the good guys in football. He's one of the few that I sort of speak to off air a bit, and I think whenever you have that kind of respect for someone outside the sort of working context, you've always got to be a little bit careful of making sure that whatever you think of someone on a personal level, and I think he's certainly a great guy, you can't let that sort of impact your professional judgment. Having said that, I think that what he's achieved at Crewe Alexandra in 5 of his 6 seasons in charge.
What has he achieved? Why is he so good?
Okay, well, there's a lot to break down there, David. I think the first thing would be when he came in, he was inheriting a sinking ship. He stabilised things first of all, got things back to basics, which probably isn't going to be required at Exeter so much because there's already a template in place by Matt Taylor. But a couple of seasons in, I think midway through the 18-19 season at Crewe, he switched it from a 4-4-2 to a 4-3-3. They outplayed the eventual champions that season, Lincoln City, had the best form in the division. Then they won automatic promotion from League Two, playing this outstanding brand of sort of free-flowing football. Yeah, absolutely. And then they finished in the top half of League One. I think the problems came for him when they lost the golden generation all in a short space of time, and basically last season was a storm of everything going wrong very quickly, and I think it was very difficult for David to kind of repair that. Now, I'm sure he'll accept some responsibility for his part in that season because, the results are there to be seen. But at the same time, I think there were some operational issues at Crewe Alexandra, which I think would be better at Exeter City. I think that Exeter have a better structure, a better recruitment process. I think they get better fees for their top young players. So I think if you put David Artell's coaching ability and capacity to improve individuals and the style of football into a better, smarter, stronger operational structure, I think that could be a really, really good fit.
I've got to say, Gab, I'm absolutely loving you on this podcast.
Thank you.
I'm loving your knowledge. Honestly, it's another level, John.
It is.
Because John, you're a big fan of Dave Artell, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you are. He's your favourite, is he, John?
My favorite.
Oh,
I'm not. I wouldn't say I've got any favourites because
you did a couple of episodes ago.
I did.
I'll
But
clip it and put it on this.
I said he'd be the one I want the most. Yeah, I'd probably say personally, but I don't know who the other candidates are, and I don't know what else
Well,
is
you
going
do,
on.
but yeah.
I think the interesting thing, just to chip in on this, is Kevin Nicholson's had a great
Yes.
start, winning at Barnsley. And I think that if you're Julian Tagg and Nick Hawker, you're probably thinking we can take a little bit of time on this appointment
Yeah.
process and
Yeah.
be very rigorous with it, because we've got a manager that's on an interim scale that's already got a reaction out of the players.
Yeah.
And I think if I'm looking at it from their point of view, I'm thinking give the Nicholson effect a little bit of time to breathe as well.
Such a natural in front of the camera as well.
Yeah, he
So
was
laid back. Such a
really good.
Now,
I think
what's his backstory?
so.
Nicholson was he
He's
manager of Torquay?
I
Is that
think
right?
I'm not too sure. There's that. This is where the confusion comes in because there's another Kevin Nicholson linked with the Exeter City job, and I think he may have been manager
Oh,
of Torquay.
oh,
Because I saw a joke on Twitter that someone said we could have an assistant manager and a first team manager of Kevin Nicholson and Kevin Nicholson, which would be.
please have that. That would be great.
But I know this Kevin Nicholson, our one that's currently with us. He played for Torquay for a while, as a professional.
How do you
Uh,
feel about that, John?
yeah, it's Torquay. Some people got to make a living.
Do you
But
do you
yeah,
like do you lot think of the I'm going to ask this question to John again. Um,
Ah,
do you think the rivalry with Torquay has subsided a bit because you're now two divisions apart and Torquay could even go down again, or do you think that there's still a fire there when it comes to the rivalry?
do you know what, Gab? I don't think there's ever been a fire for me.
Okay.
I've always looked at Torquay, and I said this on the Charlie Baker pod. I said it's just that annoying little brother. You've got your older,
you feel sorry for him, don't you?
yeah. You're just like, oh, they've already going for all this crap. But sort of Plymouth is like your the twin siblings, sort of annoying. Just absolutely hate them. Everything they do is just annoys you. So yeah, the real rivalry, don't think has ever really lied with Torquay. It's always been with Plymouth.
Of course, yeah.
Who do you think? Who are your potential the next manager of Exeter? Who do you think, Gab? Who are the
Yeah,
top three for you?
my pick would be David Artell.
Really?
But yeah, totally, because I think that the
Wow.
ability to, well, this is what, so Exeter City's main selling point, David, is this incredible academy. We already look at like the. First of all, there's players that have come through already, like Cheek Diabate, Josh Key, Archie Collins, we were talking about earlier. You add to that the Sonny Coxes and Harry Lees coming through on the conveyor belt underneath that. I think this is an incredible academy. And for me, it's got to be a manager that can harness that. And for me, what Artell did at Crewe was develop a generation of talent that should have been worth combined 8-figure fees combined, like 10 to 20 million pounds is what they
Wow.
should have got. Yeah, for Harry Pickering, Charlie Kirk, Ryan Wintle, Perry and G, and Owen Dale.
Right. Where did all
And
these
Thomas
players go
McTominay.
to? Do they go into championship sides? Where
Yeah,
did
some of
they
them
end
went
up?
to championship sides,
Right.
but the problem is they had these ridiculous sell-on clauses that didn't give them enough money
Right.
for those players because they were organized a particular time. So basically, the whole contract negotiation structure wasn't there, and there's something there that wasn't quite right in my opinion. So I think Crew got a lot less for those players than they should have got. Whereas you look at Exeter City, what do they end up getting combined for Ollie Watkins? £6 million. I think it was 1.8 million up top up front, and then £4 million after that as a clause. And so for me, I think if you put the coaching ability with the academy, with the better operational structure, I think that's a really good formula. And Artell, with that, has with that group of players, got Crew into the top half on one of the lowest budgets in the division, playing some of the best football outside the championship. Now, could Exeter get into the championship with that? I think that's a big question. I think it would need a lot of the bigger clubs to sort of fall off a little bit, and you'd probably need a little bit of luck as long with everything going your way. But I think in terms of sustainable progress, in terms of continuing to develop assets and getting big fees for them, I think it would be a perfect fit.
I'm excited, Joe. I mean, I think we're going up this year, Gab. Um, I don't
Yeah,
like that laugh there, to be honest
that
with
that laugh sort of shows.
you.
It's yeah. David is ever the optimist, which I love. I
Well,
think it works. It's good. Be like that. We need more like that. And
well, we're in eighth. We're in eighth. We're in
yeah,
eighth.
with how many games to play?
Well, I don't know, 112 or something. I don't know.
Exactly. It's
I,
it's, it's all like Gab said, it's a tricky one. It's going to take if we do go up, if we ever do go up, it's going to take a lot of
oh,
luck and a lot of the big boys having some bad seasons. Because you only have to look at our neighbours down the road. They're absolutely flying and they're playing some
yeah.
incredible stuff. Um, and they're probably not even the biggest budget in the league, and they're flying high at the top. You got your Sheffield Wednesdays, your Barnsleys, your Derbies. These teams, they're huge and they're certainly big competition.
When do you think we would hear? When's the new manager going to be announced? Do you think? How long do you think this will take?
How long's a piece of string? It really depends on who they want. If they're looking for someone who's under contract and they want to pay compensation, then it would take longer. If they want a free agent, it could be as soon as late this week, early next week. But the appointment, although Gab mentioned earlier, the Kevin Nicholson effect and maybe trying to keep him on. We've got time in the bank. That's certainly true. But I think they'll be looking to make the appointment as swift as possible.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that I see the board taking a little bit of time to get the
Really?
appointment right. I think they're going to be quite happy to give Kevin Nicholson the opportunity to manage the next few games. My understanding is that the first round of interviews is on Wednesday. So last week was basically a
Ooh.
case of sort of drawing up the candidates and making that initial contact. But my understanding is they've not really got into the nitty gritty yet. So yeah, some interviews coming up on Wednesday, and I think yeah, take a few weeks and let Kevin Nicholson sort of galvanise the club, and he's got everyone on board. I don't see a massive rush to get a manager in because there's actually an opportunity to pick up a few points under Nicholson and just tick off a few more towards the 50 mark. So yeah, I don't see a rush. I think take your time to make sure that you get the right appointment.
Is it worth standing on the corner next Wednesday, just having a little nose at who drives in? Is
No,
it worth?
I don't think the
Do people do that?
no, I don't, if we have got a manager lined up for the weekend, I don't think he'll be going to the game.
No, but I mean, there's interviews next Wednesday. Isn't it worth just having
Oh
a little
yeah, but they won't
nose?
be. I don't doubt they'll be held at the ground somewhere public like that. They'll probably be out the way.
Oh, where would they be held, John?
I don't know. And even if I did know, I wouldn't tell you because you'd be driving down.
Oh, it's quite exciting. I mean, I felt really unsafe when Matt Taylor left last week. Didn't like it to the point where I had to write a R&B track.
I tell you what I loved about Matt Taylor, I feel like he's left in the right way. Do you know what I mean? Like some managers leave and it's slightly acrimonious circumstances or it's a little
Right.
bit back. For me, Matt Taylor, he served Exeter City for 4 years. And he wrote this most wonderful sort of speech about you lot took a Southern League oil tanker to your hearts. I absolutely loved that bit. It was kind of like quite a playful thing to say, but also like I don't know, yeah, he seemed to have brought that real connection with Exeter City, and he's left the club in a far better place than not that it wasn't in a stable place when he found it, but yeah, I love the way he left, and I want to see more of that in football as well because yeah, it's more meaningful that way, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I was concerned. The next manager coming in, would it be a right fit? And then the idea of them dropping down and struggling, and then everything crumbling. But now you made me feel a little bit more positive.
Like Gav said, it's the club. The club can afford to take its time
Yeah.
because we've got Kevin in, and the result we got on Saturday shows that there is obviously no rush. But Gab mentioned the round of interviews and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting process, and I think it'll be interesting times to see who comes in.
Are there any other candidates you kind of think, well, he's got a chance? This guy's got a chance. Anyone else? And why is
Well,
Dave Artell the favourite? Is it because there's been murmurings and people know some inside? Why is that a thing?
Well, I think it's just quite an obvious connection in terms of the link
Right.
between what Artell can offer as a manager and what Exeter City need from their manager. I think the other option would be Dan Green, whether you want to bring him back from Aston Villa because he obviously took up a coaching role there. So that would be one option. But yeah, I think uh, yeah, I think Artel would be certainly top of the list. And the other option would be to go internal because if in a couple of weeks Kevin Nicholson has kept getting the results, yeah, maybe it'd get to a stage where it's difficult to go away from that, and maybe you'd want to give him the opportunity to take the team until the end of the season and then reassess things from there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a possibility as well.
Right.
The one thing I'd say about Dan Green is that he was pretty open in interviews that he never hasn't ever wanted to be a first team manager. He's sort of
Ah,
wants to be academy based, so which is why he took up the head of the under 23s at Aston Villa. I don't think he
yeah,
has any aspirations to be working. I think he enjoys the development of players rather than sort of working in that first team environment.
that certainly makes sense. Yeah. No, I'm really excited to see who Exeter City go with. Really,
Does Dave Arto enjoy going on podcasts?
well, you might be able to get him on.
Yeah. Could do a little song and dance with him. Just to,
Yeah, he
yeah.
doesn't seem like the sing along type though.
I'll get him singing. I'll get him singing. Yeah.
Charlton tomorrow.
Yes.
That one away.
Charlton. Yes. So how are they doing at the moment? Should
I
they
don't.
be a
They're
team
under
with
Yeah, they're underachieving quite a bit. I think with when it comes to Charlton, they're one of the teams that would always hope and expect to be competing towards the top end of the division. I think they probably didn't quite get the players that Ben Garner wanted in the summer. I think there's lots of operational issues there. There's sort of conflict between the board and the fans. They've got Thomas Sangard, the owner's son, Joachim, has a lot of power at the club, despite him not really having much of a footballing background. So a lot of question marks around Charlton at the moment. So I think it's probably a decent time to go down there.
right?
They got your boy as well, David, Jaden
My boy.
Stockley. Jaden
Yes,
Stockley.
Jaden Stockley, fan
Yeah,
of the pod.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
It's exciting.
Gab,
Great
I
stadium
need
as
you
well.
to. What's that,
Great,
John?
great venue. The Valley is a really great place to
I
play.
know
Really
somebody who lives
comfortable.
in a flat that looks directly, almost like it's joined to the stadium. It looks directly onto the. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, really great stadium. I was hoping to go down, but obviously my car packed it in, so
Hmm.
touchy subject. We
What
won't go into that one.
Changing the topic then, David? What's the best
Onion.
away day you've ever
Oh,
had?
best of what I haven't done an away day yet.
You've not done an away day.
No. Are you? Is that? Are
Why?
you disgusted by that?
I'm appalled, David.
Really? I was
So
going to
what
do
do you do on
Forest.
your Saturdays when Exeter are playing away?
Great
I get
question.
pissed
I
off.
love that. I love
I
that.
get
That's such a
genuinely, I get pissed off. When you were watching Barnsley, it was annoying me that you were there. You were annoying me. But I wanted, I couldn't watch it anywhere. I couldn't find anywhere to watch it. It was so frustrating. My only thing, Gab, is that the nearest teams like Bristol, I could do a Bristol. It's an hour and a half away. I can't do 4 hours. 4 hour journey.
Yeah, you can.
You're just staring at me.
It's just excuses. That's all I'm hearing. It's not good enough. You need to do away games. It's part and parcel of supporting Exeter. That's it.
Do you enjoy singing and chanting, David, or is it not really your thing?
I cannot ever imagine a time where I'll stand there going, I just can't. I can't let
Okay.
go enough. Do you shout and sing, Gab?
I quite enjoy that. I mean, I'm quite often at games, so I'm a Birmingham City fan. It's funny actually because being a journalist, you've kind of got to write about games as a neutral. I mean, I got to, I enjoy it, and I'm incredibly lucky to do what I do. But at the same time, I kind of miss that to the sort of tribal element of supporting a team every week and following them home and away and that side of things. So I still like to go to a few games, but I miss the away day culture definitely.
I think it's because I'm new to the team, and we were talking to Mark Abraham, who switched from Arsenal to Brighton, and he said it took 4 years until he kind of stopped feeling like a fraud. I feel like if I started seeing everyone go, chill out, mate, you were only here last October. So
No
I
one would
think
that.
Yeah, they would.
No, that's all in your head. It's all in your head. If you got up and started singing all sorts of chants and giving it the big one, people would love it. People would absolutely love it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, which away day? I'm tempted with Portsmouth, but again, well, how long is that going to take? 3 hours?
Yeah.
What if I break down?
Well, it's not that stressful a journey, is it?
You could say that about any. You could go to the shops and break down. What kind of excuse is that? Come on.
Yeah, but I'm only at the shops, and I call my wife, say, "Can you pick me up?"
Yeah, well, you're only in Portsmouth.
Yeah, how am I going to get home?
Call your wife. She can pick you up.
Gab, do you think we'll close the podcast down in the next 3 or 4 minutes? Do you think, Gab, am I being insane thinking that Exeter could go up this year?
I think you're being a fan because I think that I think the whole point of being a fan is to live in the hope of something better than what's likely is going to happen. So I think, although I don't think it's likely at all, I think that it's going to be incredibly competitive.
Whoa. You don't think it's likely at all? I
don't think it's likely, no.
Why?
Well, that's the pod done.
But I admire your spirit, David, because
why
there's
don't
no point
you? So we've got some cracking little players there.
We do. That's one thing I'll agree to. We do have some cracking little players.
Yeah. It's interesting though, because a lot of fans were getting like so annoyed at the lack of signings because there was obviously the gap in goal because Cameron Dawson was only on loan last season, and you probably needed a bit of cover for Sam Nombe, and lots of Exeter fans were getting agitated. But I looked at it in the summer and said, "You've kept hold of so many: Alex Hartridge, Cheek Diabate, Josh Key, so many Sam Nombe, Giovanni Brown, Matt Jay, all these players that you'd managed to keep hold of. So I think that was a massive thing. So
how likely is it that we're going to lose them this season? How in League One?
Well,
how often does this happen?
Well, let me refer to John, who's the real expert on Exeter City.
Look at him nodding.
Who's out of contract this summer? Are there some big ones out of contract?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm actually not too clued up on contract lengths. Okay. I know that. Well, I know bits and bobs about certain players, and
Okay,
but so cagey.
But the
so cagey.
It's I'll be perfectly honest with you. I actually don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know who is out of contract at the end of the season. It's probably that's really poor knowledge, but I know that there's a few that are touch and go about new deals, etc.
Yeah, because that's going to be quite a big thing. Having these players tied down to long-term contracts, it feels like it's something that Exeter City as a club on the contract front have done really well in order to get some of these players playing for Exeter City as opposed to as opposed to going to sort of a Chelsea or a Man United or Man City at a really young age. So I think you've done really well in that respect. But if there's a few players that are out of contract,
a lot of it's been luck as well. Like if you look at Jordan Story, who we sold a few seasons ago, he only played the last 20 games of that season, and that was luck because we had all sorts of injury problems in defence. We had to recall him off his loan in the National League.
It's not just luck, though.
No, not just luck. But I'm saying there's elements to it. You find these players like Cech came back off a loan because we had too many centre backs injured and played well. We tied him down on a long term or a longer term.
But this is. Yeah, I get that, but I think this is where Exeter City deserve credit for prioritizing the academy and looking. So if there's an area that needs filling, they'll look to the academy first, and then they'll look to
Yeah,
the transfer
yeah,
market to fill in the gaps, as opposed to looking to the transfer market first and looking to the academy to fill in the gaps. So the law of averages suggests that the likelihood is that
yeah.
some of these gems are going to sort of come through. So I think it's partly luck, but it's also the structure of the club. You're more likely to get that luck if that makes sense.
I think it's all just it's been like a massive project, hasn't it? I think Taggy was so big on it all those years ago, keeping the academy. When we didn't have any money, we kept it running, and he sort of saw a long-term goal in it. We've had incredible coaches throughout the years come through and sort of build this ethos and mentality. But I think it's still the case now. Like all the players, you can only wear black boots in the academy. You have to have your shirt tucked in. It's all these different things that create really young, well-rounded individuals. You've got people, the younger pros still cleaning the players' boots, all that kind of stuff. This is all that sort of mentality, working your way up at the academies in a separate building to the first team because you've got to earn your right to be in the main building and all this kind of thing. This sort of old school, similar to Man United style, like their ethos in their academy is similar. You can only wear your black boots. All of this has been embedded for years, and the plan has been there. We're now just fortunate enough to be able to go, oh, who's coming up from the academy? There's probably going to be a player good enough to step into the first team. So as much as it's I sort of it's partly luck because of injuries, etc. I also think it's a long term. It's been a long term plan, a long time coming.
Yeah,
Guys,
absolutely.
can we spend just 2 minutes answering a couple of questions?
Yeah, go
Is
for
that
it.
all right? Is that all right, Gab?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, got some questions here from Patreon. Ooh, very nice too. From Tom Allen. This is to John or Gab, and definitely not me. If the board's top choices aren't available, would you back an interim choice until the end of the season?
Well, let me take this one up because I think that there shouldn't be a rush for
Yeah.
Exeter to make an external choice because John Hill and Kevin Nicholson are doing a good job. So I think I'd be open to giving it an interim choice until the end of the season, and maybe at the end of the season there can be a bit more of an external search for someone more long term. But yeah, I think for now I don't. I think if you're not absolutely convinced by an external pick, then yeah, by all means go internal. That'd be my position.
You
I would
happy with
I'd
that,
only be
John?
inclined to go internal if it's Kevin Nicholson. I know there's not a lot of options actually, so it'd probably have to be Kevin Nicholson.
Well, it's
But
us.
are we internal?
Bit of both.
Half in, half out.
Yeah.
I'd be happy. I would be happy to give it to Kevin Nicholson to the end of the season for what I've seen at the moment, and how the players reacted on Saturday to him being in charge is really impressive.
Second golden question. So either Gab or John or both. This is from Craig Mealy. Is there any thought in your mind that the new manager might actually get more from the team than Matt could?
That's a really great question.
Isn't it?
I would probably argue no, just because the players that have been brought in were Matt's players with Matt's ideology of how he wanted to play in mind. Unless we sign a manager that wants to play exactly the same way that Matt did, I don't know who better get more. Maybe the same, but it would be quite an impressive appointment in my opinion. Someone to get more out of the group of players than we already got, which is eighth in League One, would be some achievement.
I mean, has Dave Artell got some magic in his
Well,
fingertips?
I don't think we could hold any new manager to such high standards to improve on eighth in League One. I think that would be a bit of a high bar. I think that for the aim for a new manager has got to be to consolidate in mid-table and maybe bring some of the young players further into the equation, as Matt's already done and Paul Tisdale before him. So yeah, I think it's going to be really important that the next manager continues to develop youth. But I think asking them to do better than what's gone before, I think would be tall order, really.
Yeah.
I think just to be clear here, the eighth in League One is our highest ever finish. So
Blah, 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 blah.
is our no blah
Think,
blah blah. No. Eighth in League One is our highest ever finish. So for us to be
oh,
here
should
now,
we finish? Should we? That'll do then. Well, should we shut up shop then?
well, no, we can always do better, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, for previous reference, we are literally the highest we've ever finished in any
Yeah.
division.
Gab, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. It's been an interesting experience going on this podcast, but
That's what everyone says.
Interesting, as in very pleasurable.
well, and that, yeah. No, listen. Thanks so much for having me. I've really enjoyed myself.
And before you go, favorite onion. Favorite onion?
Favorite onion. Oh gosh. Do you know I like a cheese and onion pasty? I'll go just on the link there.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, but you get those from around your neck of the woods.
Neck of the woods, yeah. So you're a cheese and onion pasty guy. Thank you,
a
Gab.
cheese and onion pasty, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
No worries.
See you later.
All the best, City.
Cheers.
Take care.
Bye.
Cheers.